It is Friday, May 30th here at the West End Gun Club. It is just after 14:30 or 2:30 in the afternoon here at the range. It's one of the rare times I ever come out to the range on a weekday afternoon, but I do have the day off from work. Had to do some family stuff early in the morning, so I said, I might as well just take the whole day off. And so I took the day off and decided to come out to the range and do a run through of the June 2025 NRL22 course of fire. We should have enough usable light, till 7 or so. But hopefully it doesn't take me that long to run through them, maybe 3 hours or so to get stuff set up and torn down. But let's go ahead and get the targets out. I haven't cracked open the container yet, but I did have those targets ready to go for the configuration for this course of fire after our last match on Sunday. So you haven't seen that range vlog, the most recent range vlog that has coverage of our match for the May match. And we had the Australians here visiting before they headed up to Nationals, which is happening right now as we speak, I believe. I think today's day 1 or day 0 or something. So good luck to the Australians and good luck to Adrian Garciga, who's a regular at our NRL22 matches here. He is attending Nationals, so he's like one of the only people from our crew here that shoots our NRL22 matches here is head up to Nationals this year. So good luck to him. Hopefully he does well. Anyway, let's go ahead and get busy. It is 93 in the shade right now. We had a heat wave come in. This is like kind of signaling the start of summer, but it's going to cool down next week, the 80s, but we're up to 93 right now in the shade. But let's go ahead and get set up and start shooting. Before we start off this run through, I'm going to show off this little deal here. This is my Crush It timer. It's inside this 3D printed case. This was made by Wayne Sang, one of the regular competitors here at our NRL22 matches. He made this. I saw him post it on his social medias on Precision Werk, Instagram. And it's just basically a case to hold the Crush It timer on your arm, because I normally would run it on the side of my rifle right here for NRL22. But for NRL Hunter, I was thinking about putting it on my body somehow. And so when Wayne made this and he posted, I was like, hey man, can I buy one off you? But he just made one for me to try out. And I can see right now that this strap is too long, but I want to try this out on the body because for NRL Hunter, it makes more sense to have it on your body than on the gun. And I actually want to put my bino harness, so I'm trying to figure out a way to put my bino harness. But I want to try it out today, running this on my arm for NRL22, the run through, just so I can get some time using it. I was going to put it on my left side, my left arm, but for NRL Hunter, it'll be easier the way I hold the gun for NRL Hunter, but for NRL22, the way I hold the gun with my strong side, my strong hand, and my left hand is holding my bag, it's going to be easier for me to just like press it if it's on my right arm. So we'll try to run like this and see how it goes, just to get a feel for running a timer on my wrist. Before I begin discussing the first stage in this course of fire, I wanted to mention that all 5 stages by default in the June course of fire are adaptive friendly. That is, there's no adaptive variant, because in prior courses of fire, you'll have the standard stage, but then you'll have an adaptive variant for that stage for people who get into a prone position or get into those low positions where you're craning your neck or other like manipulation of the back that is not conducive for some people with physical ailments. So this entire course of fire is going to be adaptive friendly. So I don't think we're going to see any prone stages. If I don't recall, there's no prone stages. So in any case, the first stage in this course of fire run is called Living on the Edge. 12-round stage, standard 2-minute part time. We have only 2 targets. We have a 1-inch at 44 yards on a single hanger and a 2-inch on a double hanger at 88 yards. There's a 1-bag limit. However, we will be allowed to use a tripod, the club provided tripod, if you choose to use it. It's optional. If you do use it, it just says maybe fully deployed prior to the clock starting, but you must be holding it as part of your gear if you're going to use it. You're going to start standing, rifle to high ready. All gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, we engage the targets with 1 shot each in the following order of manner. From position 1, near, far, near. Position 2, far, near, far. Position 3, near, far, near. Position 4, far, near, far. So pretty simple, 4 different positions on this pyramid, but you're going to start with 3 shots each position, but you're going to start near, far, then near, and then the next position, far, near, far. Next position, near, far, near, then far, near, far. Pretty straightforward, just alternating between the targets, but you're going to start with a different one first. However, the available positions will be not only outside rungs, but the inside windows as well, bisected by the legs. So technically, this is not one position. This is two positions if you shoot from the left side or the right side where the leg bisects it. So you kind of have to engage. Your barrel will have to be on one side, like kind of in that vicinity, in order to count as a position. And it says here, all positions must be used across the single highest rung you can reach. So the way I'm reading this is, since there's 4 positions here, I don't think we're counting this one. If you do, you have to shoot across all 4 positions. So when there's only 4 positions, you're going to stay on this one rung. 1, 2, 3, 4. It says all positions must be used across the single highest rung you can reach. It's not really clear what this is, but it didn't look like it's counted as a position on this diagram here. So I'm not really sure here, but I'm going to assume that, like, if I don't know, because it says if you could reach this one, technically you can shoot this one, but then you have to come down for the next rung to shoot 2 more positions. I'm going to assume this is not a position. We'll go shoot, this will be the position that we can shoot from the highest one, and we'll just shoot across all of it, right? So I'll shoot 1, 2, 3, 4. All positions must be used across single highest rung you can reach. Okay, that's how I'm going to interpret it. We'll see what other people think. I didn't see any discussion of this on the match director forums. And this is version 1 of the Course of Fire, so maybe they'll release a variant or a errata to this, like a version 2. Anyway, enough talk. Let's go and try this one out. I'm going to use a tripod. I normally wouldn't because I don't think you need a tripod, but just for the sake of demonstration for people who want to try using a tripod, I'll just use it just so people, people who've never used tripods before can understand how it's used for rear support. Far. Just parallax for this. All right. Probably would have been better if I got it for the second lowest rung, just for the sake of. Oh, so I timed out. It was very hard to do this with a tripod, and with this window here, it's very hard to maneuver my gun in here, which caused a lot of problems here with this bag. And the tripod's fumbling around. I had my bipod here at my feet, and my tripod legs hit that, and it was getting tangled up. I would honestly never use a tripod in this situation. I think it's too much of a crutch here, and it gets in the way. But I wanted to try it with a tripod just to show how it would work, and frankly, it's not very good. So I'll run it the way I would normally run it if they'd said the tripod wasn't allowed, like if it wasn't an option. So let me grab an extra mag here because I am dry on this one. And we'll try this one more time, but with just a bag only, no tripod. Oh, barely clipped that one. Held under too much. Okay. Let's go and drop a mag here. Near, far, near. Wind's picking those up. Far, near, far. Oh, I missed that last one. Oh, wind picking that? Weird. All right, this stage is pretty sloppy with the tripod. Without it, it was okay. I moved better. However, I did miss my last shot there. I don't know if there's a wind thing or what, but definitely missing it that last position. So the issue with this tripod here, I could probably adjust it to be a little less of a footprint for this, since we're shooting at an angle, but you do want a little bit of height here. That being said, this tripod, with the fact that this barricades, it cants inward, so you're going to be hitting this a little bit with your against the tripod against this, so this could drag. I didn't see it, but I caught this dragging this against the pyramid. I got caught here, so you do have to be careful. And I think the key thing is just making sure that you keep your shoulders to keep that tripod controlled here as you drag it across. But I just felt like it was just too sloppy to use, because once you got into this position here with my single bag, it was very hard to maneuver inside this tight window here, because you're supposed to shoot it, since it's the highest rungs you can shoot, that it's getting in the way, and I'm trying to bring my tripod in, but you can see here it's hitting this. So you're fighting the tripod against this pyramid, and so you kind of have to like get the leg in a position where you can get it to the stock. And so I feel it's just too much work. Go with a single bag, balance your gun properly, get it in a good position, let it hold still, guide it, control the bag with your offhand, your sport hand, and you should be able to make clean shots. Granted, I cleaned everything up until the last round. I think that was a win thing, but I think it's just better to single bag this. So in any case, I would shoot without tripod if given this option. So my recommendation, shoot without the tripod. Let's move on to the next stage, and it's Course of Fire. The next stage we're going to run through is called Handi-Capable Carnage. This is a 10-round stage. We have two banks of targets. We have a 1 inch and a 1.5 inch on a double hanger at 50 yards, and then we have a 2.5 inch and a 3 inch on a double hanger at 100 yards. We have a ladder and our 55-gallon drum. No restrictions here, 10 points per impact, 100 points possible, standard 2-minute stage. Standing rifle to high ready, all gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, you'll engage the targets from small to large, one shot each in the following order. 55-gallon barrel near, ladder far, barrel near, ladder different rung far, barrel near. So near off the barrel, far off the ladder, small, large every time, one shot each. Only use the two highest reachable rungs you can safely shoot from. So probably, I mean, I can usually make this work. But if I'm on my tippy toes, maybe, I don't know. We're shooting at an angle, so I might be able to make it work. But in any case, if I can't, then I'll start here and then go here. But this is pretty straightforward, pretty simple stage. A small to large, one shot each on double hangers, near, far, near, far, near. So 2 shots, 2 shots, 2 shots, 2 shots, 2 shots, 10 rounds total. Pretty straightforward. I'm just going to single bag this one per usual, and we'll see how this one goes. Should be pretty easy. Near, far, near. target and kind of turned around. That was easy. I didn't move as smooth as I wanted to on this stage. I don't know, I just wasn't moving well. I think I lost a lot of time because I decided to dial, and just keep in mind that I have a vision issue, so I do have to take my glasses. I'll lift them up a little bit to see up close because these are prescriptions for Infinity. I don't have one of those little tapes. I probably need to get one of those tapes so I can just quickly mark where I need to dial to, because I'm looking at these, 15 mil graduated turrets, right? And it's hard to see that quickly. So I probably need to do that. That's where I lost some time. But other than that, I do recommend dialing. I think it makes it easier than holding over, since you're going to be shooting the same bank of targets from each different position. So near, keep it at your 0, your 50-yard 0. Far, dial to whatever 100 is. For me today, 1.7. Dial back down to 0 here, and just vice versa. Unless you really feel comfortable holding over. Today, we do have a little bit of a wind, which is why I wanted to hold or have dial when I can, so I can have my crosshair to just reference quickly if I want to hold left and right. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Single bag this stage. The barrel seems pretty wobbly today for some odd reason, but made it work. And same with the ladder. I shot off my toes for this one. In retrospect, I probably should have just gave up and said I'll just shoot here, because I mean, it's safe. I'm just not stable. So I think it's better just to shoot off this one if you're short. If you're short and whatnot, and we're shooting at an angle too, so I think it factors in a little bit. Although flat ground, it probably is more incentive to shoot from the lower rung. But in any case, this stage is pretty straightforward. Single bag, you're fine. It's just, I would say, whether or not you're going to dial or not. I decided to dial. Just keep in mind it could slow you down a little bit, so make sure you're practicing your dialing as you're moving from position to position. Let's move on to that next stage in the course of fire. The next stage in the June course of fire we're going to run through is called Adaptive Assault. It's a 12-round stage, 2-minute part time, and this is the bonus stage, so if you finish with extra time on the clock, you get bonus points. So we have 3 sets of targets here. We have 2 1.5-inch targets on single hangers. They're separate single hangers at 61 yards, 10 yards apart. Then at 100 yards, we have a 2.5 and a 3-inch on a double hanger. That's in between those two. So the 261s, 10 yards apart. Then in between at 100 yards, we have a 2.5 and a 3-inch. 1 bag limit on the tank trap. You're going to start standing, rifle to high ready, all gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, you'll engage the targets 1 shot each in the following order and manner. Tip number 1, left 61, far large, far small, right 61. Then you're going to go to the next tip, number 2. Far large, far small, right 61, left 61. Then you're going to switch to the next tip, right 61, far large, far small, left 61. So to summarize, all 3 tips, you're going to shoot all 3 tips, whatever order you want, but the target order will be based on that tip number you're on. So on tip number 1, you're going to start left, then far, then right. So remember, the first tip is left, far, right. That dictates your next shot for your next tip, because the second target in that first iteration is your first target on the second tip. So tip number 2 will be far large, far small, then right, then left. So if you remembered, you shot left, you shot far, now you got to shoot right first. So you're going to shoot the last tip, you're going to do shoot right, far, then small. I think the key things to remember is left, far, right. That dictates your first target order, as well as the starting target for all 3 tips. Left, far, right. Then after you do their first tip, you're always going to shoot the right before the left. So left, far, right, left. I said right before the left, so right, left. I think I said that. And then right, far, left. It's gonna, if anything, just write on your dope card holder, on your sleeve, on your card, whatever, if you need to remember, write it down to remember what order you're going to shoot. But that's basically what's going to confuse you on this one. Recommend writing it down. Anyway, let's go ahead and run through this stage. Oh, the target spun. Oh, it's not too hard. Plenty of time, 77.05. This stage is really easy as far as your positions, standard tank trap stage. My only recommendation here is you're going to have to write down the target order unless you can memorize it. Again, I just use the whole left, far, right mantra. You're always going to shoot large, small, but it's going to be far left, far, right. So tip number one, whichever one I pick, I'm going to shoot left target, far target, right. Then I'm going to switch to the next tip. So I shot the far target the second time here. I'm going to shoot the far target the first time here. So far, but I'm going to go right, then left. And then here I'm going to go right, far, left. Far is always going to be in between. Some people might mix it up and accidentally go like right, left, and far, like doing a clockwise motion, but it's not clockwise, right? You're going to shoot left, far, right, then far, right, left, then right, far, left. It's a weird order, but that's how I remember it. It's always going to be, remember your first target order, your first tip order. Left, far, right. Second target here, so far, right, left. Last target here will be the first target here, left, far, right. That's how I remember it, but if you can't remember it that way, write it down. I held over 1.5, I dialed 0.2, it's roughly 1.7 for 100. 0.2, 0.3 for 61, it's, iffy. So I just held 1.5 to get to the 100. I didn't dial, so. Anyway, pretty straightforward stage. You should be able to clean this one, I think. And just remember, when you're swinging your gun, you got to look over the gun before you get behind the scope, because what I always see people do is they're looking through the scope. They got the scope at like 15 or 20, even higher, and then they're doing this, trying to find the target. And I see people, they adjust their magnification, they're looking, they find the target, they bring the magnification all the way back up to like 25, 27, 30. They engage, then they get back in the next position, now they're hunting again, then they dial their magnification down. So don't get tunnel vision there. Remember, just look over the gun, find the target, line up your scope to that target, then get behind the gun, and you can find your target. And just keep that thing dialed down to 12. You don't need beyond 12. 10, maybe you can do 10, but you don't need beyond 12. It'll make it easier to find those targets once you get behind the gun, and then you'll be there. And then I can still see it at 8, which is when I'm there, and I can make a clean shot at 8. So anyway, remember, look over your scope, line up gun, then get behind the scope. That's it for this stage. Let's move on to the next one. Next stage in this course of fire running through is called Chairborne Operator. 10-round stage, standard 2-minute part time. We have 2 banks of targets. We have a full KYL rack at 40 yards. That means the 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch KYL rack at 40 yards. Then we have a 2 inch on a double hanger at 92 yards. No, the restrictions here is no dialing of elevation is allowed after the clock starts. Windage and parallax is allowed. I'm assuming magnification as well. A chair or 5-gallon bucket may be used to sit on. Interesting. Okay. Standing, rifle to high ready, all gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, you'll engage the targets with 1 shot each from the following. 1 shot each from the top of the sawhorse in the following order. 1 inch KYL far support side. 3/4 inch KYL far support side. 1/2 inch KYL far strong side. 1/4 inch KYL far strong side. 1/4 inch KYL far strong side. So you're gonna engage the KYL. You're gonna alternate from 5 different positions, so to speak. 1 inch KYL far. 3/4 inch KYL far. 1/2 inch KYL far. Then 1/4 inch far. 1/4 inch far. But you're gonna shoot support side for the first 2 iterations, the 1 inch and the 3/4 inch. Then switch to strong side or normal side for the last 3 iterations. So the 1/2 inch and 1/4. So just to remind people, when you shoot support side, I'm a right-handed person. When I shoot left-handed, you have to use your left hand on the grip and the trigger to shoot. Left shoulder. You cannot use left shoulder then right hand to operate in the left eye. You have to use your left hand. That's just a stipulation here. I've seen people try to do it this way, just left eye and right hand, but you have to use your left hand to pull the trigger. You can use the right hand to operate the bolt, but you have to use your left hand on the trigger. if you're a right-handed shooter, supports hand on the trigger. It's a pretty straightforward stage, but let's try this one out, see how it goes. So, and by the way, I'm not going to use the chair or a bucket complicates things, so I'm not going to use it myself. I'd rather just kneel, because when you're hunched over, I'd rather shoot upright, because if I kneel on both knees, I can shoot upright, my body's upright, so I'll shoot it that way. But let's try this one out. Gun, support side. Barely nicked it. Oh, that was a good position. Quarter inch. Let the magnify. Bring the magnification just a little bit. Just parallax. Can barely see that. Parallax. Parallax. Okay. Plenty of time, 20 seconds left, roughly. This stage is pretty straightforward. It's all about your support side positioning. So my issue here is I don't think I was very balanced on the gun initially. And I need to learn how to settle. I should have settled the gun a little bit better before I got in position to balance out this rifle and manipulate the tilt of my rifle to the target, kind of with my hand, my support hand, my non-trigger hand. I can just adjust this cant here. That's what I should have done, and I didn't do a very good job, which is why I missed the 3/4 inch KYL. And I drop my mag here, but I could have made a cleaner shot here had I just went ahead and kind of gripped my hand here to with my right hand, my non-shooting hand, to get a little bit more stable, and I could square off my body just a little bit more naturally to shoot this, and I could have broke a cleaner shot. I know it was my main issue here. So I think the key thing is take a few extra seconds here. Once you settle the gun for the first 2 KYL targets and the far targets, get the gun settled, make sure that it's got neutral balance here, and then you can adjust it with your non-shooting hand to maneuver this tilt up or down. Don't try to adjust it here, because you're gonna pull it out of balance. So I think just it's better to just use this non-shooting hand to kind of manipulate this, and then make sure you get a nice clean stable shot. It might be a little bit of wobble, maybe a couple tenths, maybe a tenth up and down here with that pulse that I'm getting. And then you can just kind of come off with your shoulder just a little bit if it feels unnatural, and pull that trigger. So that's my only tip there, is just make sure you settle in for those first 2 KYL shots. I think that's key thing to not missing, because I did miss one. In any case, I think we got one more stage to run through, and then we'll be done with this course of fire run through. The last stage of fire run through is called Rolling Thunder. This is a 12-round stage. We have 2 sets of targets. We have a 2-inch on a single hanger at 75 yards, then a 2.5 and a 3-inch on a double hanger at 100 yards. We have an interesting setup here for the prop. We have 3 center blocks underneath. I guess they're just kind of supporting this 3-tire stack. Restriction is no bipod to be used. 10 points per impact, 120 points possible. Standing rifle to high ready, all gear in hand, mag in action open. On the start signal, engage the targets with 1 shot each from the tire in the following order and manner. Left side of the tire, far large, then small, then near. So large, small, near. Right side of the tire, near, far large, far small. Front side of the tire, far large, then small, then near. Then rear side of the tire, near, far large, then small. So you're always going to shoot the far large, small, but it's going to be left side, far large, far than near, right side, near than far, front, far, then rear, near, and far. So it's left, right, front, rear, but you're going to alternate far and near. Which target is going to start off with. Memorization game again. I know a lot of people hate these things, but you just got to keep that in mind. So left, right, front, rear, far, near, far, near. It's always large, small on the far targets. Now, as far as the front on the tire, rear of the tire, etc., basically put an X in this target on the tire, and that's will be your quadrants: front, rear, left, and right. Left, right, front, rear. I don't have tape. I didn't bring tape with me, so I'll have to tape it or mark it otherwise. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'll just have that in my head to know that I'm going to be on the left, right, and far and rear. It's going to be interesting because you can't use a bipod. So I think I need a larger, because we're shooting up. So I need a bigger bag. I need a bigger bag to shoot the targets, to be honest. So I don't have an elevation, and I don't think I have a big bag with me today. Well, I do have my pillow. I have my pump pillow, which I didn't want to use, but I guess we'll have to use that for this one. Huh. All right, let's try this one out. I change now. Get out of the way. I pulled it. Oh, shoot. Pull that one as well. Yeah, this is not gonna be easy. What the heck happened there? "30 seconds, I got time." Okay, it's all making clean shots here, but this tire and our up angle is definitely a problem. This stage could be problematic depending on your venue and how wobbly the tires are. These are very wobbly tires, right? So it does move up and down around. The problem is you don't understand, or some of you who've never been to this range, we got a 4 to 6 degree upward angle to the target. Sorry, and I always forget what the angle is to the target. I have my laser rangefinders over there. But I think like 5 degrees. 5 degrees up angle. So the problem is when we have to shoot the front of the tire, your gun is basically aiming down, basically because the tires are not only sagging, but to level ground. I mean, if we're shooting down, it's fine to level ground. The problem is we got to get up, and we don't have your bag height because your stock is going to hit the rear tire. So you really need a huge bag. So that's a problem. So I had to stack this pump pillow basically on the corner side here, the narrow side, just to get enough. And I still had to press down on the gun to force it. So you need a bigger bag, or what I can do is either shim. I can get other tires to stiffen it, but I think the key issue is we need to shim this. I'm going to probably put some sandbags in between the top tire and the second tire so that angles it upward because we're going to have to do that. Otherwise, people will just not be able to engage that 100-yard target, which is at an upwards angle. So I'm going to have to get some sandbags and then make that modification on match day or match morning, or if I can come out here before then and make sure that this works. But for everyone else, you're shooting out level ground. It's not a problem because the tires. I mean, you're going to shoot down anyway. So you'll have enough elevation on a bag, and your stock or chassis, if you want to put another bag here, you'll have plenty of adjustment. Unlike us, we can't get the gun angled up. So everyone else, just remember your order for the targets. Again, it's going to be always you're going to start far and then alternate. Far, near, near, far, far, near, near, far. It's always large, small, but left, right, front, rear. It's a memorization game. Just go over it in your head several times and you'll have it down for your stage. So anyway, that's it for the run through of the stage. It's right at 1800 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up these targets, get them in the Carnage container, and try to roll out of here. Friday afternoon traffic, everyone's trying to get home or going to Vegas because that main freeway that passes by the gun club's off-ramp, everyone's headed to Vegas that way. So we have a lot of traffic going home, but let's go ahead and get everything cleaned up and wind down this range vlog. It is 18:30, so it's getting kind of late. I want to get home. I am thirsty too. I drink all my water. It's hot out here. It actually topped out at 99 in the shade. I was going to spend some time after the run through to shoot a gun I just acquired. I'll just save that for another vlog. If you follow my Instagram, you know what it is, but I'll just save it for the next vlog. But yeah, I'll just wait until another time to shoot it. In any case, as far as the June course of fire, I think it's moderately difficult. I would give it out of a 5, 2 or 2.5 out of 5. 2, 2.5 maybe. It's not really difficult, but there's going to be a few nuances in it that will catch some people. Support side's going to catch people. I think some of the memorization is going to catch some people. And then that tire stage, depending on your venue, could be a problem. I know for this range, the West End Gun Club, it will be a problem. So I anticipate points will be dropped during this match. It's cleanable. I mean, you can clean it. It's just not that, it's not as easy as last month's or the months prior. Those two previous matches, those are pretty good matches to clean on. And those are very beginner matches, I think. This one is going to challenge most people. As far as the experts, most experienced, there'll be a couple, things that if they forget or, lose focus, they'll drop points. But I think for the average person, this is going to be moderately difficult, like a 2, 2.5 out of 5. So just practice this as best you can. Dry fire a lot. Just make sure you can remember the positions and the target orders, and you should be fine. As far as the West End Gun Club, our next match is Sunday, June 22nd. That's the 4th Sunday of the month. So definitely come on out if you're in the area. If you need a loaner rifle, we have the Tikka T1X. Just let me know in advance so that you can reserve it for yourself. But in any case, that's it for today, Friday afternoon, May 30th, here at the West End Gun Club. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. See you in the next vlog.